Hi, morning traders. Welcome to Market Snapshot. This is Monday, and this is the week that we have NFP. As traders, we know NFP comes with its own fair share of challenges. And so our work as traders is to really identify opportunities through the volatility that will be coming in on Friday. But then again, let's have a rundown of what will be happening in the week and where the opportunities will be before we go to the euro. So this is my chart. Remember, every day when you wake up as a trader, before you look at your charts, have a look at the economic calendar, get to know the economic events that could adversely affect your positions. For example, as you are heading into the maybe to the close of Friday, you should have been looking. You should have looked at your calendar and seen that there were some French elections, parliamentary elections, which we will see later how they affected the euro, that gap that played out, and we'll see how we can trade that gap. So now, new week Monday. That means opportunities for us. We have the German pre all day. This is really not so much. It won't really affect the markets. But then again, we have now the SM manufacturing PMI later at 5 p.m. This will greatly affect. We could see a movement in the dollar, and we'll have a look at that later. And so when we basically the red folder. A better number, for example, the forecast, this is what traders are saying. Traders are expecting the numbers to come out at 49.2. If the numbers come out at anything higher than that, then we should see the strengthening of the dollar. If numbers come out anything lower than this, and especially if the numbers come out lower than 48.7, then guys, we should expect the weakening of the dollar. All right, so anything 48.6 or 48.5 or anything below this number, then that will be a bad thing for the dollar. So we expect to see a lot of volatility coming out today. And then, of course, we have the European Central Bank President Lagarde speaking, but we really don't expect so much volatility. Maybe she'll be discussing the French elections at some point, what to expect as the Eurozone. And so we should be out of our positions, especially if you're a day trader. I would normally advise traders to tend to take a break at around maybe 8-9. Exit your positions due to the liquidity dry spell, where especially London traders are out, New York traders are the only ones in the play. As we all understand, when more sessions are open, let's say the London and the New York session are open, that's when you have a lot of volatility because you have more money coming into the industry, right? But then again, when you have one session open, then you expect to see not so much of movements. Yeah, so that's a play that I would recommend. But once again, this is purely educational. This shouldn't give you any investment decision. On Tuesday, we have the core CPI. I'll cover this tomorrow during market snapshot, and we will see how these will have an impact. And then, of course, we have now Fed Chair Powell speaks as he gears up for NFP on Friday. And then also we'll be looking at the JOLTS job openings to have a clear understanding of where the dollar is headed. That's Tuesday, tomorrow. And then we also have Wednesday. Wednesday, we have a lot of news coming out. We have the unemployment claims setting the stage for NFP. We also have the ISM services PMI. Lagarde will be speaking also. And then the moment that also traders will be waiting for, the FOMC meeting minutes. This is something that could be impactful on the dollar, so be on the watch out, right? We also have on Thursday, we also have the Swiss franc, CPI. That's something that could adversely affect the franc. And then also the parliamentary elections. Remember what you have in the UK, the elections. This could affect your GBP positions, especially now that you have the Conservative and the Labour Party. Guys are now favoring the Labour Party to win. And so that because they tend to take care of the US sorry the UK residents, because it's more of a labor party. It's more based on workers, right? So these are guys who are looking for expansionist monetary policies. They're looking for more job opportunities to be created. But then again, now here is where you'll have to strike a balance, like more job opportunities, the economy to grow, then more spending. That means inflation could increase. And remember, the BOE has been reining in on inflation too, with the view of maybe rate cuts towards as we finish off the year. So these are things that the government has to balance, and that's why they are the policy decision makers. And then, of course, on that day, we will see not so much of activity on the dollar. So ideally, what will be moving the pair over here will be the Swiss franc and maybe the pound. But then again, due to the Independence Day holiday, then we should expect not so much activity on dollar related pairs apart from these two, right? So the euro, you could see a lot of sluggish accumulations. We could see a choppy market on some currencies. Why? They'll be setting the stage for Friday, because on Friday now we have NFP, guys. And ideally, with regard to NFP, I would encourage everyone to go to the FX Pesa YouTube channel. There's a video we've done on how to trade NFP. Come have a look at this video, how to trade NFP like a pro. Uh, Watch this video, and I'm sure you'll learn something or two that probably you can implement on Friday. So let's go to today, now that we've done a rundown. Now that we've done a rundown of what to expect in the week. So on Monday, today, of course, we've seen some opportunities, and basically it's more on the euro, courtesy of the French parliamentary elections. And so what's really happened is simple. This is an article I've seen with regard to the euro. So they rallied the euro and the CAC 40, which is the index, the French index. They rallied. They were bullish because of the national rally taking up a win. So picks up nearly 34% of the vote as widely expected. And so why is it that the euro rallied? What does this party has that makes people bullish, and the reaction now on the euro? So basically, the French right-wing National Rally Party, led by Marine Le Pen, basically is looking at policies that favor more of nationalist and protectionist stance. Basically, they're looking at reducing more the VAT on energy. Remember, the Russian and Ukraine war affected the eurozone, right? So when they decided not when they decided to stop using the gas, then there was now the alternative was that they had to source this gas from Qatar and even maybe the US, and so that means the prices of gas went up, right? So they're looking at ways of cutting down on the prices of energy, and that means the VAT will be reduced. They're proposing increasing public spending. Remember, the more our government spends, infrastructure, building of roads, there are guys who are employed. There's demand for cement. There's demand for all these employees coming in. The local economy benefits, like for example, if a road, now we are in East Africa, if you look at any road that is being constructed anywhere, there are local guys who get employed there. There are mamas, there are women out there who will supply the mandazis and the tea, and that's how that economy gets revived, right? And households are able to earn out of it. And then, of course, these guys are looking at constitution amendment to allow discrimination in favor of French citizens over foreign residents in jobs, welfare, and housing. So, guys, this is deep. Like, they want to prioritize the French citizens, right? So this is why now you've seen the reaction of the euro on that regard. So all this they could lead to financial instability. That's for a fact, especially if you're prioritizing the French guys over, let's say, the immigrants. Immigrants tend to or not be picky, and so you see, if we talk about the labor market, the French residents will demand a higher pay, and so that could affect the manufacturing sector and so on and so forth. So Heavy spending plans are not financially sustainable and could also trigger a financial crisis with regard to national debt. Remember, they'll for them to spend, they'll have to now maybe look into bonds, and that's now a problem because now they're taking up more loans to spend, and also of course inflation that will happen later, and the government, the ECB has been trying to rein in on the inflation. So those are some of the reasons why we've seen the dollar. So if we go to let's go to our charts and see what has happened. For those of us who've not checked out our charts, we'll see the reaction of the market once there was that win. So towards the end, kindly I'll answer your questions. So I will go to my MT5. Okay, so if we go to H4, this is an analysis I had from last week. Didn't play out as expected because I was looking for a bullish Euro USD, but then there was that tank that happened before now the bullish play came in. And now the gap we are talking about is this one on H1. We're talking about this gap over here, right? There's a whole gap over here that needs to be filled. So this is the gap that needs to be filled. And so remember, as traders, there's so many guys who will try to sell the euro, right? There are guys who actually are in a sell, and so they could face a challenge, especially if we look at precedents. I want us to look at what happened some time back. This was, I think, June 7th. We can see this gap over here. If we go to H1, you see history is our area of interest. We really want to look at what happened in the past and learn from it. I want us to look at where was it? I want to look at this gap. This is the gap that happened uh, some time back, 10th June. We can see this gap. This gap, a lot of traders on Monday started buying the euro. They started buying the euro with anticipation that this gap will close. Yes, the gap will eventually close. But then again, you can see what happened. The market kept tanking, right? So especially guys who are taking buys over here, their stop losses were around somewhere here. So they took a loss because you can see the move was quite a big one because at some point in time went to 60 pips, right? So clearly not so many traders were able to hold that position. And so the following day, but eventually on Wednesday, the CPI news came in and we can see the market eventually had that gap closed by this candle over here, right? So we need to learn from this. And by learning, we are saying that, yes, this gap will close, but then that doesn't mean that you should start looking for opportunities to go short right now, right? Make sure that you have a trading plan. And this is our assignment right now. We want to look at areas where you could look for opportunities. And so ideally, we have some areas I had mapped out from last week. And if we were to go to the weekly to try and understand why I had that price level over there. So this is maybe courtesy of the moving average 0784. It's an area I would be interested to see the Euro USD get to 0784, maybe, right? However, we also have something over here I've seen on H4. There's another block over here which is the last bullish candle. This is the bearish order block, which is the last bullish candle before a major drop that led to break of market structure. So we can see the structure was broken here, right, by this candle over here. So this was the last bullish candle before this drop. So there's a possibility that we could see the market move to 0800 or even 0784. So that's a possibility. There's also a possibility that the market could basically go short at this point in time. Based on this move, we could see a test of today's high and maybe sellers come in. So ideally, as traders, what we need to do is that make sure that before you take a position, trade based on confluences, right? Have a list of confirmations that you're looking at. Why is it that you're selling in this particular instance? Is it because that you want to trade this gap? That's a good reason, but it's not good enough. You need to have a string of confirmations, right? Uh, before we talk about the Euro USD, there's something I want to highlight. That guys, we're on the road to 335k subscribers on the YouTube channel. So subscribe to the YouTube channel and get to learn more on the markets from our team of experts. So this bullish move could be also an opportunity to go short. Maybe it could be a test. Maybe the market will come back and test this high, 0775, and then drop. But then again, I would be wary, especially if you look at the precedents we've had a look at on 10th June. We had a similar situations where guys ran to buy so that they can have that gap filled, but unfortunately some took a hit. So this is a disclaimer that you just need to have confirmations, right? Go look at your technicals, have a feel as to why you want to go short. If your technicals line up like everything that you look at before you take a trade, then by all means take that trade. However, if your confluences have not lined up, the ones that give you a signal to go short, then ideally I would advise people to be wary with regard to being so much bearish and yet you don't have those confirmations. So that's it with regard to Euro USD. So we are really looking for those opportunities to play out. As a trader, make sure that you're seeking opportunities based on confirmations, right? Make sure that you map out your areas, your technicals, to have a better feel. So for me, I would want to see the bullish move to either 0784 or even 0800, 0803, thereabout, before taking a short move on this particular currency. Yeah, so if I were to map it out, then maybe we can remove everything here because we have that last week's analysis. Yeah, so we've seen, we could see the market come to this order block over here, 0803. That's like, I think, 40 pips from now. And since we've seen the precedence in our gap over here, this gap that we had on 10th June, where the market went all the way down for around 60 pips before the bullish play, then, well, it's a possibility that that could also play out, right? And on the RSI, we could see price come to the 70 region, which is an overbought region, and maybe that could also present a good area where you could be now seeking short opportunities on this particular asset. So what I would want to probably see if I were to take this trade, I would ideally want to take this trade at, I would want to short it at 1.0800 and have that play out. At least that's what I would want to see, especially on Euro USD. Now let's look at USD CHF. USD CHF, remember we've seen that this is the week, the NFP week. So we could be seeing a lot of moves playing out. So ideally, if I were to look at opportunities as we go into the NFP, I would really want to see a bullish dollar. Maybe if I were to map these, I would want to see this neckline over here. I want to see how market reacts to this price level. If we go to the daily, actually I've seen a better area. I would want to look at what happens when price hits that order block. This is a bearish order block, the last bullish candle before a major drop. And so I would want to see price react over here. Right, and there's also a moving average over there that could also act as an area of resistance. So ideally, we have two price levels that I would want to see on USD CHF. Yeah, so I'm still bullish. I'm still bullish on USD CHF. So that means I'm expecting a bullish dollar. That means it's in line with what we've seen on Euro USD, a test of that high before a major drop. So ideally, USD CHF for me presents a bullish case. Maybe we could see this play out. Yeah, we could see that play out as we head into NFP. That's it on USD CHF. So let me map out an area I've also identified over here as also an area where you could book your profits if you're looking for buy opportunities. So if we go to H4, yeah. So remember from last week, we were looking for a bullish USD CHF. That played out. We've seen that bullish play happen. So we are still bullish on this particular asset. And maybe we could see a test of these price levels before a bearish move plays out. On GBP USD, we've seen the elections that will be playing out in the UK, and so let's try and seek opportunities. So last week we were looking for opportunities to buy the pound. You can see this is one of those times where the analysis didn't play out. It was a flop. But then again, that's you as a trader. At times you'll miss it, and this is when our risk management will really help you and keep you in the game. So let's remove everything. And maybe if we were to look for opportunities, we would want to look at these time frames. So go to the daily. So let me map out an area here I have identified, this order block over here. 26.99. Yeah, so that will be actually, if we look at this trade, this is last week's high, right? So last week's high is an area I would be interested to see GU go to. This could happen today. This could happen today, by end of the day. And maybe for an intraday play, I could look for opportunities to maybe go short for around maybe 50 pips. Yeah, so maybe from this order block, that will be an area I will be interested to see. If we were to see GU do this, let's see that bullish play, and then maybe for an intraday, remember it's Monday, not so much activity happens on Monday. Sorry. yeah, for like 50 pips. Yeah, that's a trade I would be interested to see how GU reacts to 2702 or that 2700 number, and then how it will react to 2650. So I would really want to see that play out on GBP USD. But then again, this is purely additional analysis. We have Bitcoin. Remember, guys, if you look at my early analysis on BTC, I have been looking for opportunities to buy Bitcoin at 51,743. But you can see there's also another area of support I had mapped out, 59,021. Look at how this area has held two times. It first held at this point in this price level, and then right now we can see from last week, Bitcoin came to that area of support, and we can see the bullish players coming in. But then I'm still anticipating a drop to 51,743. I'm only touching Bitcoin once it gets to 51,743. Yeah, at least that has been my outlook on Bitcoin. UT100 UT100 from last week. We were looking for a bearish stance. We can see that didn't really play out as expected. So it was a flop on our end, on my end. So literally, this is where now we need confirmation. So let's remove everything and try and see whether we can see a fresh analysis on the UT100. I can see a question. There's someone with a question. So order block is an area where you have traders, a trail of traders left behind, right, Thomas? So basically, it's a term you'll hear from ICT guys, or is it smart money guys? And so anytime price comes to a certain order block, you'll hear traders say, hey, you look for opportunities to go short. For example, let's look at UT100. I want us to look at something here. I don't know whether this order block will hold. There's something I want us to try out. So if you look at this currency over here, this asset, the UT100, this was the last bullish candle before a major drop. So let me map it out over here. So the expectation is that this is an area where you could look for opportunities to go short, right? So any upward push to this price level should be met with sellers playing out. So let's see whether price really got there. Look at that. Look at what price did. Price came to this order block, and all of a sudden sellers stepped in, and we can see that bearish play. So for more on this, kindly attend the FX Pesa Academies. We have Kitengela, we have Thika, we have Nakuru, we have Eldoret, and we have Kampala. Right? You'll get to learn more on order blocks and how you can effectively use them, like we've seen now in this example. Remember, I had not even checked out this trade. It's only that I've seen your question and I've realized, I've seen it, I've identified this order block, I've mapped it out, and we can see price came to that order block and all of a sudden sellers stepped in. Right, so it gives you good entries, especially if you master how to map out your order blocks. Yeah, you can easily have good trades on them. And I've been discussing about order blocks before in my presentations, and you will see price get to those price levels and market behaves in a certain way. So let's go to H4. So you can see that order block in play that led to now this bearish push. So if we were to look for opportunities, I don't know, I'm still looking for a bearish push. This is technically, but for now, let's look at H4. Let's look at H4. So I'm looking at last week's low, the low of last week. So this is what I would want to see on Nasdaq UT 100. Yeah, maybe a bearish push to last week's low is something that maybe we could see on this particular asset. Okay, AUD USD. AUD USD, we were looking for opportunities to go long, but then again, we can see just like that, just like GBP USD, we can see a bearish push that played out. So let's get rid of this. Go to higher time frames. So last month's high, remember now we are in July. That's a potential area where you could look for opportunities to go short on AUD USD. So H4. However, long term, I'm still looking for opportunities to go long on AUD USD. However, intraday, if you're a scalper or an intraday trader, then I would want us to look for these opportunities. Maybe what time and days are the classes in Thika? Joe Tuo, just like all the other satellite offices, we have classes from Monday to Friday, 1 to 2:30, 4 to 5:30. 1 to 2:30, that's one session. And then the next session, 4 to 5:30. So we have that. While we could see the market test last week's high, right? So when price tests last week's high, then maybe you could look for an intraday trade or a scalp trade. And ideally, I would want to see this play. So if you go to H1, so maybe I would want to see a push to 67.04 on AUD USD. And then maybe when price gets here, we could see some bears coming in for around 40 pips or thereabout. Yeah, to test, maybe I would want, actually, we'll be interested to see 66, 62, something of the sort for 40 pips. Don't be greedy when it comes to AUD USD. It's sluggish, it's the kangaroo. The kangaroo is not sluggish, but then I don't understand why AUD USD is sluggish. Huh? But then anyway, you have that on AUD USD. Gold, we were looking for opportunities to go short, and so we can see it played out. We can see that short play, but then we had two target levels. So we were looking for, maybe if we go to H4. So I was looking for gold to drop to one, target number one, 2306, target number two, 2286. So ideally we can see price didn't get to 2286. However, 2306 was hit. So let's remove this on gold and try and get a fresh analysis. So gold, once again, go to higher time frames. Let's try and understand the trend. And the only way to understand it is through higher time frames. So we can see how price has been rejected at this price level. All right, so we can see it seems like bears want to step in, maybe for to use that moving average as an area I'm interested in. If you go to weekly, go to daily, at times you'll just try to see how price is reacting to these areas. But for you to get a better entry, especially if you're a day trader, then you might want to look at lower time frames. Okay, so I would be interested. I would want to see yeah, that test. I'm looking at this moving average, the white one, which is the 200 moving average. Let's try and get. So gold still has some moves to play. So if I were to trade gold, I would want to see gold on second thought. Let me map the high of last week's high. That's an area I would want to see sellers come in. So I'm still bullish. I would want to look at a bullish push on gold. And then maybe after that, we could see the bears coming in. Oh, my goodness. No, 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 no. Yeah, to test maybe this low, last week's low. Something of the sort. On gold, that's probably what I would want to see gold do. Okay, that's the end of my session. Any questions? I think I've handled a few. I've handled a few questions. Uh, there seem to be no other question. So, guys, kindly subscribe to FX Pesa YouTube channel. Get to see so much content for you, and it's all there for you guys. It's free, just like the physical classes we have in the different satellite offices. Industry. I can't really give you an area where to buy. However, I'm just sharing an educational analysis, right? So if you were to maybe look for opportunities on gold, maybe uh, if gold was to drop to 2318, which is the Asian low, which is the lowest price. This is the lowest price during the Asian session. So if this drop was to test this area, then maybe we could see a bullish move, maybe. So with uncertainty in the world, gold has been a play that personally I'm really not interested in having a look at. I prefer looking at trades that give me better outlook. Yeah. So any other question? So that's it. Once again, just a recap, guys. There's a video. This is NFP week, and so that means we have opportunities. What's your take on NFP, Timothy? It's still early. It's still early. That's something that maybe you'll want to have a look at on Friday. All right, my colleague Norbert will share that. So I would want us to maybe have a look at where you need to go to the FX Pesa YouTube channel. Have a look at this video, how to trade NFP like a pro. Have a look at what we are saying about the NFP and uh, how you can leverage on it. And then you can definitely have a look at all these other videos. The FX Pesa Signal Center tool. This one will give you signals every day. Yeah, so that's it from me. Make sure that you subscribe to have a better feel of what's happening, right? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a peaceful week. Have a bullish week and have a fruitful day.